this is Luciana from the Northeast branch of the Warren County Library, and welcome back to another at-home craft with Luciana. Previously, we've made a t-shirt into a tote bag and a paper cutout bookmark. If you'd like to see those, you can check out our Warren County Library Facebook channel and our Warren County Library YouTube channel. Today, we are making a multimedia painting using paint. And I also gathered some beads, sequins, buttons, pom-poms, anything like any little crafting materials like that will work just fine. I did not have canvas, so I used a little piece of foam board. If you have canvas, that would work great. If you don't have a canvas, you can use a foam board piece or even cardboard, even a thick paper. If you have like a cardstock or something like that, that will work just fine. Okay, so to start, we're going to paint a background. You could do this any way you like. You could do a solid background, you could do stripes, polka dots, anything you want. I'm going to do some stripes on the top and the bottom. Leave the center plain because we're going to make an initial out of those little beads and sequins and things we've gathered. So to start, to make sure my stripes are straight, I'm going to use washi tape, and I'm just going to kind of cover to make little stripes on the bottom and the top. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just using this to kind of measure out my little sections here. And I'm just going to tear it at the end. And I'm going to do that again. And I'm just going to leave it kind of loose for now. And I'm going to make a smaller one above it. And then I'm going to repeat the same process on the top. And I'm just going to fold over these little sticky edges. This way I can peel it off after the paint is dry, but they're not sticking to anything in the meantime. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and then I'm going to mirror that on the other side. And like I said, it does not have to be perfect. This is a DIY craft. This can be for any age. I'd recommend ages 10 and up. It could be a little messy with the paint, and later we're going to use some glue, but any age could do this craft. And this would also be a great gift right now. I know I personally am missing some of my family and friends, so this could be a nice thing. You could send them in the mail. Just let them know you're thinking about them, you miss them. Or you can use it for a decoration around your own house. Okay, so I'm just folding those over. And then we can begin painting. You will need some regular craft paint. I'm just using acrylic craft paint I got at the craft store. I have pink and green here. You can use any colors you want. And any kind of paint will do. You could use watercolor paint if you had, any kind of acrylic paint, finger paints, really anything you have is fine. If you didn't have paint, you could even probably cover it with paper or color it in with marker. So this is what it looks like so far. I have 2 stripes on the top and 2 stripes on the bottom. And I'm going to begin painting. This is actually an adhesive foam board, so I can attach it to something else if I want. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. So I have 2 paint brushes, and in each little cup I have 2 different colors of paint. So you want to make sure that you're using a protected surface. This is a little TV table, and it has kind of a shiny surface. You can wipe it off real easy. If you don't have that, you can just cover with newspaper or scrap paper, even just any piece of plastic, anything that will cover your surface so you don't make a mess. Okay, so I'm going to use my pink on the bottom here, and I'm going to use this brush for the pink because it's a bigger stripe. And I'm just going to paint that right on, and I'm kind of making it somewhat thick, but not too thick. This will need some drying time, so I'll probably be coming back at a little bit later for the rest of this craft. You're going to need to allow it to dry. Most craft paints will dry pretty quickly, half hour to an hour, but I'm going to leave mine probably a little bit longer just to make sure it's completely dry. And then we can remove our tape to reveal our stripes. And then we can do the main section with the beads and sequins, and we're going to make an initial. So I'm going to use the letter L for my name, for Luciana. But you can use your own name, or if you're giving this to someone, you can use the letter of their name. You could even spell out a word if you like. Okay, so now we're going to do the green paint. I've finished that. I'm going to switch to my green paint on this side. I'm using the smaller brush with my light green here. I'm just going to go between these two pieces of tape. Try to get that excess off so it's not taking too long to dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, except that I'm going to do the green in the larger section and the pink in the smaller section on that side. But like I said, you could do this any way you want. You can make a solid color. You could do some other design. Anything you want. Remember, this is your own project, so have fun. Okay, so while I'm painting, I'll refer you to some other programs we have going on. Our website is www.warrenlib.org. We have some great programs there. More crafts like this one are available. They're often premiering on our Facebook page and then moving to our YouTube channel, so you could check out those as well. They're both at Warren County Library. We have lots of resources. We have ebooks, and you can get those from Hoopla or Cloud Library. You need your library card number for that, so you want to have that available. And if you need help with anything on the website, you can go to our Ask a Question tab off of the homepage. It's on the right-hand side. It has a little green tab, and it says Ask a Question. You go there and ask any questions you want about these resources or your card or anything you're wondering about with the library. Okay, now I'm going to do my other side, and I'm going to switch up the colors. So I'm going to do pink on the small one and green on the bigger stripe. And I chose these colors because I wanted it to look kind of summery. Kind of makes me think of flowers or watermelons or something summery and fun. Because it might not feel like it, but it is almost summertime now. And we've been having some nice weather the past couple days. It's been nice and sunny and warm. Great time to get outside. Maybe while your paint is drying, you can go outside for a nice walk or whatever you want to do outside. It's really great time for that. And I think during this time we're kind of missing out on some exercise, so that would be great. Or you can go, if you're interested, we have on our website some virtual tours of parks and museums. That's a really cool thing to do in your free time as well. It's just kind of fun because we can't go there right now, or at least we shouldn't be going there right now. And it's a good way to explore and learn something new during this time. So I'm painting my green now. My pink is covering a little bit better than the green. The green needs to be gone over a few times, so I'm just taking my time covering that up. And then we're going to leave this to dry for a while. Like I said, it should dry pretty quickly, within an hour for sure. But I'm going to leave mine a little bit longer just to make sure it's nice and dry, because I'm going to peel the tape and I don't want any of it to be ruined. So I'm going to leave it for probably more like 2 hours just to make sure it's really dry, because we're also going to be interacting with it. So we want to make sure it's completely dry before we come back. Our painting is done, and when we lift these up, there's going to be a white stripe in between, and then this is just going to be white like the middle. And then we're going to use this middle section to put our little initial in with the beads and sequins or whatever you have. So we're going to leave this to dry, and I'll be back in a little bit to show you the next step. Okay, so I'm back. Our paint has been dried. It took probably about an hour and a half, I'd say, to make it really, really dry. I ended up putting an extra coat, and I peeled off our tape, and I think it looks really nice. And it's perfectly centering something for the middle here. So that's where we're going to put our initial. So I'm going to put that side back there, and I have all our supplies ready to go. So what we're going to do is I'm using a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to draw out my initial, just a rough drawing of the letter L, so I kind of have a guide of where we're going to be gluing. So I'm just going to, see, this should be about the same size. So just going to draw it now, and I think I'm actually going to do it this way. So we're going to draw out our letter. Actually, what I'm going to do is just draw a print letter L. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to move it closer. The pencil. And then I'm going to fill it out, kind of making a bubble letter here. And like I said, it doesn't have to be straight or anything. This is just a guide so that we know exactly what we're doing once we fill in with our beads. Here I have a little bowl, it has beads, and I have these little rhinestone stickers, buttons, pom-poms, and these little things were from one of those light up box letterboard things, but I don't have that anymore, so I use those. So just any little odds and ends, little craft supplies to fill this in. So I'm just going to finish drawing my letter here, and like I said, don't worry about being perfect. And that was not perfect at all. That's okay, because we're just using it as a guide. So now I have my L drawn out, and you want to do this for whatever letter you want, or you can make a word, you can make a shape, anything you like. So I'm going to cut out my letter. Put that over there. Okay, my letter L is cut out. Now it's pretty clear that it's an L. And I'm just going to lay it down in the middle. I'll hold it up. So I'm going to lay it right here. And I'm just going to lightly trace around it with my pencil, just so we get the idea of the shape. It's just a guide so that when we're gluing the things down, we know that we're gluing them in the right spots to make the letter we want. So I'm just lightly tracing around the outside. I don't really want to see the line. I just want to have a little guide to go by. All right, so now, it didn't show up there for some reason. Okay, so now we have our L traced on there. I'm not sure if you can see. It's kind of light. We just want a guide. So I'm going to put that aside. And I have these little rhinestone stickers. All of these beads, stickers, sequins, you can find these at any craft store, the dollar store. You may even have some beads lying around. Okay, so I'm peeling off some of these rhinestones, and I'm going to leave them in the little corners. And then in the middle, I'm going to use my little bowl of objects here. So around the outside, I'm going to begin by placing these. These are sticky gems, so they already have a little bit of adhesive on it, so you don't have to worry about gluing them down individually. You know, that can be kind of tedious. So I'm just making a little design. I'm not thinking too much about it. I'm just kind of making an outline here. And just going along some of the corners. Okay, so now I added some of those little sticky rhinestone gems on there, just to kind of remind us of the shape we're working with. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a small section at a time because I don't want the glue to dry too quickly. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the rhinestones, around our little shape. I'm using a clear gel glue. You can use any glue you want. I'm using a clear drying glue because I don't want it to appear after we're done. So I'm going to start by taking out my pom-poms and putting them in front of me here because use those. Okay, and I kept with the pink and green theme, so everything I'm putting on here is pink, green, or white, just to keep with the color theme. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit of glue to the corner here. Whoops. And I have to squeeze a little bit hard here. I'm using the cap to kind of spread it out. I'm putting a decent amount of glue, so it'll take a while to dry. Okay, and I'm just going to start picking out some random pieces here. I have some beads and a button. So I'm going to start by gluing those down, pushing those into the glue. This might get a little messy. And just pushing those down into our glue so that they are going to stay. Go in with those tiny gems, and I'm just going to add a few around the little section we just finished. And this is just supposed to be fun, so have fun putting different things in there. It doesn't have to be any certain way. We're just having a good time making this craft. Whoops. See, that was supposed to be the other way, but that's kind of what this is about. Just putting random pieces together and making art. Okay, so our bottom section of the L is done, and I'll hold it up slightly so you can see what we're creating. It's very fun. And I'm going to continue up the side of the L, and every so often I'm going back in and adding some of my little baby rhinestones. And I'm going to try to use these. I'm going to have to use a little bit of extra glue for those. And since there's not a lot of room left, I'm only going to use one. Okay, so I'm now filling in my final section of the L with some glue. And I haven't really found use for those little light box symbols yet. So I'm going to try to put one at the top here. I think that would look fun. So what I'm going to do first is, because the bottom is sticking up, I'm going to pick this flower and oops, I'm going to lay down some of these white buttons just to kind of give it something to rest on. Okay. And then I'm going to add some glue on top of the buttons as well. And then I'm going to lay that down in all of that glue. So that should be secure. And I will show you what it looks like. I think it's really fun. We can hang this up. It will take quite some time to dry with all that glue. I would leave it probably longer than the paint, maybe even overnight before you hang it up or give it to somebody. So I leave this for a while to dry, and then you can decorate or send it to somebody you love. I hope you enjoyed this craft. If you are interested in more, keep staying tuned on our Warren County Library website, Facebook, and YouTube channel. Our website is www.warrenlive.org. See you next week.